multimedia, wellness and health, events, reviews, and
This
more.
is Mary Collins from Lifehakx Media on Radio X, and I have the pleasure to have back online with me Helen Rudinsky, our expat counselor in Switzerland. How are you, Helen?
Fine.
It's such a pleasure. Although we are now working from home.
Home offices.
So, today we're dealing with this COVID-19 situation, and although it may look like things are changing, the rules are changing because of numbers, we are also aware of that those numbers can vary. They can become variable, and 1 minute we can be doing really well, and the next minute we can go right back into lockdown. So I want to really discuss how we should be dealing with our family or ourselves, our own mentality during lockdown. So
Right.
What would you like to start us off with today?
Well, I think one of the keys with families that have children at home, this has been a new experience for all of us. And I know most kids are getting online teaching, and that helps. And hopefully they're keeping up with their studies. And the people I've talked to are very happy with how teachers have worked. Mm-hmm. So, although they are saying that maybe when kids get back, there might be some catch up that has to be done. So We'll see. But what many parents have brought to the forefront, and this is something I'm struggling with too, is so much time on the internet, especially with boys, video games and so on. And for a lot of children, maybe more so boys than girls, the online games are created so that you don't want to stop.
Right.
Kind of like some of the slot machines. You just think another quarter and I'm going to make the jackpot. Mm-hmm. So there is an addictive component in these games, just like there's an addictive component with potato chips. Right. You know, you keep wanting to eat one, where that isn't the case with broccoli. You usually eat a little broccoli and you're finished. Mm-hmm. So we are dealing with some addictive entities, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I don't want parents to be killing themselves when they can't compete. Now, there are activities that if your child is interested, I would encourage you. I know there's online dancing right now. I know of an online theater class, piano lessons, even some sports teams are trying to do things online.
Interesting.
Yeah, they have a sport protocol and maybe they meet with Zoom and connect with the other players. So people are really trying and try to seek out those opportunities. Every region has different things. Sometimes this is headed up by an individual, like the sports teams, but there are opportunities. So really search out those opportunities in your area. I know some church youth groups are meeting. I know other teen groups are meeting. So try to find out. But I don't want parents, beating themselves over the head, because really a lot of these things they just not as interesting, and they don't compete with the online games. Right. And that's just the nature of the beast. Now, there's also some blockers out there you can get. And these would be found at the Media Mart or online with Amazon. But they have where you can block YouTube, you can block, of course, for teens, they have all kind of adult material blocked. That's a given. But you can block various sites, Facebook, and different things. The problem, and I did that, or they have an hourly quota, like you say, 2 hours, and then it shuts off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I would encourage parents to look at their local Media Mart type stores to find those. They run around $100, and you plug them in, next to the router and so on.
Okay, so what are they called? But they're just.
I can get you that. Mine was, I think, the Disney one. It was called Circle Plus. Okay. But there's several. And
they're
just
media blockers.
Yeah, media blockers, internet blockers, and they also keep out. A lot of schools have been using these for years. They also keep out adult material, pornographic material, all that stuff you don't want coming into your house. Now, the problem I found is so I was very happy to get rid of YouTube, but I had to, and I blocked it, but I had to unblock it because so much of the online teaching is done through.
Right.
And my blocker was not sophisticated enough to discriminate that from these hours we'll have YouTube, from these hours we won't. But these are a start. So those are the two options. Find the activities that are taking place through Zoom and other media platforms, and then see if you can block. And then maybe the third thing would be maybe giving some rewards. Right. You read for 2 hours and you get another hour of internet or a cupcake or whatever. But that's what the school does a lot. They use in even the little ones in preschool, they get a sticker, they get a happy face. Right. But don't beat yourself up. This too will end, and it's not easy on everybody. Maybe try to have game nights. Some families are successful. Puzzles, bringing out the old Monopoly game you haven't used in years, watching movies together. Try to use this time, because a lot of people are saying it's wonderful. We've got to know our kids. Right. But don't beat yourself over your head with the computer, because you're just up against a giant.
Yeah. So do you think some sort of scheduling, at least, where you're like, do this at least by a certain time of the day?
Yeah. Try to have
this
structure. I know a lot of schools, their teachers are meeting from like 9 to noon. They have to, they have to mark their attendance for that day. Yeah, try to do that. And then throughout the day, if there's other groups, try to go, depending on where you are. I know some people can go for walks, other people, it's difficult. Yeah, maybe if you can get out on the balcony or the front steps of your house, try to get some fresh air and away from the screen. Screen time is not healthy. But at the same time, I just don't want people to beat themselves up. Okay,
fair enough. And at least now we should at least put in line preparation that if this turns into a second wave or longer, that okay, we've given them a lot of TV time or video time at the minute. However, set a schedule for the future of like, if this happens again in a more serious way, like with stricter lockdown rules, we're going to, in advance, I'm going to find out what the kids like to do and figure a way to say, okay, look, we can't go outside and play soccer, but we can have a little mini softball game of it in the house.
Yeah.
So buy that sort of stuff now while you can on Amazon, have it ready and in storage so that if this happens for a second wave or whatever, you have that softball, you have the games, like you said, good old fashioned board games, because if they're competitive, children are competitive, right? And they like to learn. So repetition is important to them. That's why the video games hook them so well. However, it's still far healthier for them to move their arm to move a Monopoly piece or a game board piece than it is to sit and press buttons all day, which could potentially lead to some sort of arthritis, Yeah. I mean, this is what's scaring me.
Or bad posture, hunched over. People are saying that the posture of people have really gotten worse over the 10, 20 years because we didn't used to be hunched over things.
Exactly. And this is so what do you say about how do you deal with parents who have different takes on this? Because if one parent's very easygoing and says, come on, leave them alone, this is a hard time for them, let them do what they want to relieve their stress. And then there's the anally retentive person like me that's like, no, they could be inventing rocket science while on a break, or, building a birdhouse or doing something useful. How does one deal with that?
Yeah, well, this is a long-term problem, because if you have different takes on that, you're going to have different takes on other things. And actually, your idea of putting together a schedule is a good idea, even if hopefully we never have a lockdown again, but we still have Christmas vacation, spring vacation, summer vacation.
Right.
So ideally, the parents want to sit down on their own and come up with a game plan, so they're not making it up as they go.
Right. Okay. Because so that's the thing. Come together.
Yeah, because this is a long-term issue. And basically, if they have conflicts in this area, they have probably conflicts in other areas that are overlapping, like how
Right.
much homework and so on. But the more structure you can put in place, the better. And then, like I said, it can be used for summer vacation and all the other vacations.
Right.
Because
To
even
stop-
if we go back to a normal life, we
Mhm.
still have those times where the kids aren't in school.
Right, and they're getting more and more addicted to stuff that's not in any way benefiting their lives.
You know,
So also they can talk to you online. I mean, parents and teenagers.
I'm
and,
doing sessions by Skype now.
Okay.
People are finding it nice. They don't have to leave their home. They don't have to worry about babysitting or traveling to an office.
Mhm.
So yes.
So people that are listening and also that get the opportunity to watch our Lifehakx Media video, which will be on our Facebook and our website, be aware that Helen Rudinsky is available for you to rant to if you need to on an online counseling session through expatcounselingswitzerland.com.
Yes.
So, look out for her, and she'll also be able to post some of our stuff on Lifehakx Media. So keep an eye out for that and just hold it, hang in there. This will hopefully be temporary, and no matter what, you can get some great life lessons or life hacks from learning how to schedule in healthy, productive projects for yourself, for the teenagers, for the whole family. Thank you, Helen. It's been a pleasure.
Nice talking to you again, Mary.
Are you ready for life-saving and life-changing hacks?
Was ist das?
20 minutes of the best top expert tips and hacks to make your life better. Lifehakx. Technology, business, multimedia, wellness and health, events, reviews, and more. Lifehakx. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. Lifehakx. Lifehakx.com. That's with a K and an X on Radio X.